Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here tonight to talk to you about how to write an essay. This is just going to be an introduction into how to write it, give you a kind of like a tour guide to being successful in writing a good essay. First of all, what we want to talk about is the different structures of it. The one thing that I've learned from a teacher back in the 10th grade taught me about the four T's. And what the four T's are is you want to tell the audience or your reader what you're going to talk about. That means you're going to use imagery, you're going to gain trust, and you're going to keep the reader interested, because if they're not interested in the beginning, they're not going to continue to read the essay. Okay? The next thing is to talk to the audience, the reader, about what you're actually going to say. This is the body of the essay. This is where you're going to give all of your information regarding what the prompt was in the beginning. So if the prompt was to tell us about your life, you'll be describing where you were born, how you grew up, who your parents are, and that type of thing, in order to keep that flow going. The third T is what we call the conclusion, or to tell the audience about what you talked about. Now, in that particular case, you're going to use the recap. You're going to restate what you said in the beginning in order to gain complete understanding from the reader. The reader at that point is going to take your point of view or your side of the story, or they may completely reject your point of view or your side of the story. Now, the problem with essays that I found is when we do the introduction, we don't put enough information in the introduction. A lot of times it's really bland. It's really not telling exactly what we're going to state in the story. So therefore, again, that reader loses interest. You know, how many times have you read a book or a novel when you read through the first couple of pages and it's so boring, or you just don't like it, that you put it down and you don't ever pick it up again? Now consider that in an essay form when it's only maybe a page long. So if you don't give them enough information up front to really capture their imagination, to catch their attention, then you're really not going to be successful in writing your essay. Also, when we go to the body, when I've read other people's essays, what I found is that they try to prove their intelligence on a piece of paper, meaning that they go above and beyond their level of education. They're trying to use words that they have no idea what they mean. They're trying to use phrases and things of that nature. And what should happen in this case is you should always be yourself. And when I say that, what I mean is that you should use words that you're comfortable with. And when you do that, it allows the paper to flow. There's more symmetry to the paper, and it's easier for the reader to understand. Because if you're using big words up here that you don't understand, and using regular words down here, the symmetry is not there. It's unbalanced. So therefore, it's important for us to always remember when we're writing these things to make sure that we use the level of education that we're comfortable with. In addition to that, you want to stay within yourself. If the prompt again is about writing about your family, you don't want to write about what happened on the football game this past Sunday. You want to stick to what the prompt is. And a lot of times people kind of go outside of that, hoping to gain a few more points or a few more eyes to look at. But when you're writing an essay specifically for classes, and when you're trying to get into schools, they want you to be specific to what that prompt is. They don't want you to go outside of those parameters. For when you do, you're not following instruction. That's basically what you're telling the reader when you go outside of those parameters. Now, also, the one T that I didn't mention is transition. And when we're talking about transition, it's talking about going from one paragraph to the other, using words like moreover, also, in addition to. That keeps the flow going smoothly in the paper. If you don't use those words, then you find yourself, it doesn't make sense from one paragraph to the next. So it's important to find the word that is appropriate to use for each transitional statement. Now, finally, we're talking about conclusion. In conclusion, basically what you're doing is just restating what you've already told the reader. It's a pretty simple process. If you tell the reader what you're going to talk about, you're going to tell them the story, and then you're going to tell the reader what you talked about. It's a pretty simple story, but we find it difficult to do sometimes because we're always trying to add extra into it in order to get points and get more eyes to look at it. So therefore, my suggestion is if you follow the four T's, including the transition, you will have a successful essay. All right, thank you. All right, how did I do that? 5 minutes?
Yep.